everybody, and welcome back to week number 3 of the Luminon X Command Station Free-for-All Atlanta Prep. I am your host, Revenite, as always, and joined with me today is a very special guest, Kish. How are you doing today?
Revan, I'm great. Usually I'm working with you on a different side of the Halo community, but today I'm very blessed to be working with Luminon Gaming today. Revan, I'm excited. I have not indulged too much into the FFA scene like you may have, but I'm super excited. You know, I've seen some names in this lobby. I was talking to you earlier that I've seen over on the college Halo side that I normally work on. But today, you know, a lot of competition, a lot of big names in these lobbies. I'm excited to get started.
As am I. Taking a look at the leaderboard so far that we have. We did have 3 rounds of the open pool section of this tournament so far. So we have plenty of points acquired already, and yet we have some more that players still need to get. Matty Matthias, he's in first place with 28 points after 3 rounds. But also in a surprise twist, we have Silva Fox, who is tied with Command Station herself for that second spot with 24 points apiece. Now, of course, both of these players have made it into the top 16 for the winners semifinals, but we have a couple of players who are fighting for those last couple of spots. We have Epic Rage and Snark, who are tied for that 16th place. And remember, everybody, 16, that is the cutoff in the leaderboard. Everybody who falls short of that will not make it into the winners finals. Their FFA tournament dreams are over. So a lot to be had here. But also on the cusp of that, we have Milkshake and Juicy, who are only 2 points ahead of Snark themselves. So they could also be in danger should any of these other players below them be able to make it into that top 16.
Honestly, super excited to watch what Luminon has in store with all of these players. You know, FFA is something completely different than what I'm used to in traditional 4v4 competitive Halo. You know, you have to play a whole different game style. And you know, Revan's seen these players more than me, but you know, you're making me excited here saying Milkshake's only 2 points off. I know that guy from college Halo. He might be the guy I'm rooting for today. Revan, you might not be rooting for him. You might have a relationship with these other guys, but you know what? I'm excited for some good Halo. Excited to see some good clips here today.
I'm always on pretty good terms with a lot of these players, but you're absolutely right. Milkshake, he did make it into the top 8 last week. This time around, he's having a lot more of a struggle because maybe we don't, you know, maybe he's not in some of the same lobbies that he used to be in the past. Now he's been in place in some lobbies have been very, very difficult. Okay, taking a look at that stuff, taking a look at that leaderboard, you know, we have some very, very strong names. Stefano Biscuit, he was the winner from week 2. Week number 1 was Matty Matthias, and of course we all know who Command Station is. She is an FFA world champion, and honestly, I'm really excited to finally get into these games. So as we get started here, Kish, we're going in to lock in on the POV of Milkshake, who is fighting for his life to stay in the top 16.
Ooh, you might have to teach me a little bit here. Looks like GAs are not respected as they are the same in 4v4 ranked. I like that. You know, I'm a big sandbox guy here. Unfortunately, Milkshake not able to utilize that heat wave off the start of the match, but gonna get himself into another 1v1 here, and ooh, down 0-2 at the beginning. Not a, you know, ideal start in FFA, but we see a lot of yeah, we see a lot of comebacks.
Well, let's take a look at Command Station's. Take a look at the top leaderboard here. So Command Station, she's already in the lead with 5 kills so far. We also have other individuals who are in the running as well. Cheesy just got himself a nice double kill. Now gets taken down, unfortunately for him, but he is tied with Command Station for first place currently. And typically, as we get into the first 5 minutes of these FFAs, Kish, very typically what you're going to see is everybody kind of stay neck and neck with each other. But after 5 minutes, once we get into about once we get really close to that halfway point, being around 12.5 minutes in the game, you'll start to see who is going to extend their lead. Now, it's very, very important in FFAs that if you see a player, you at least trade 1-for-1. Ideally, though, of course, you would want to win that 1v1 duel and gank as many of these 1v1s as you can.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. Seems like the halfway point is the turning point in a lot of different Halo game modes. You know, same works in Slayer here. I see a lot of trades coming out like you were mentioning before there, and ooh, unfortunate team nade or self nade there. You can tell I'm used to more more team oriented stuff, but there's a lot of damage that happens and a lot of just trying to maximize what looks to be like you securing kills, because at the end of the day you're not looking for damage in this, you're looking for that last shot accuracy, that final, you know, killing blow.
And we all know just what kind of caliber player that command station is. Allie is just a fantastic FFA player from every single time that we've seen her in these FFA tournaments. She's always been in the top 8. And now she is firmly setting herself up for success with 11 kills, at least in this lobby. But realistically, who we're looking at are the players like Milkshake himself, Epic Rage, and Flexi. These guys are the guys that are trying to make it into the top 16, and in order to get enough points for you to be able to get there, you have to finish in the top 4. So first through fourth, that's where these players want to finish in this tournament if they want to have a chance of making it into the top 16. If they're anywhere below that, they're not going to make it very far.
Yeah, you know, I think one thing I'm kind of looking at to expand my brain into the FFA terms is assists. You know, how much of your damage is being turned into assists that other players might be either stealing your eliminations in these matches. And you can see, you know, the right side of your screen, there are 4 players who have, well, there's more players who have assists, and they tend to have less kills than the players on like the left side of your screen who have more kills and less assists. So it seems to be, you know, putting yourself in these positions where, you know, you could play your life, you can either third party somebody's 1v1 and secure these kills into yourself.
Great job there by Milkshake staying alive. Remember, Milkshake, he is in danger of being kicked out of the top 16. So every kill for him is going to be extremely important. Still taking a look at the top of the leaderboard, though, we have Command Station to switch it up, who are tied for first and second apiece. But directly behind them, we have Firefly as well as Epic Rage. And Epic Rage, he's on the outside looking in, trying to get in to the top 16. And right now, he is knocking on the door for this top 4. The more points that he gets, the higher likelihood it is that he will actually get it into the top 16. So very curious to see how he finishes the rest of this tournament. But for right now, as we are finally getting very, very close to that 10-minute mark that we were talking about, already we are starting to see who the top players in this lobby are.
Yeah, and it looks to be at least at the moment, a clear top player in Command Station with 17 kills. You know, you said, what was it, around the 10-minute mark? That was a roughly halfway where the tides start to turn. And, you know, Command Station taking that lead, kind of, you know, building her presence on the map, just trying to be the #1 player. So everybody else, I think their goal right now, not necessarily take down Command Station, but put yourself in positions that you're smart to kind of run away from fights that you don't need to take, and you give yourself a better chance at getting into that top 4.
Easy. He was trying to set himself up for a possible gank with that 2v1, not picking up the heat wave either. He you know, some players may still respect the GA for the heat wave, but like we had mentioned, in FFAs, usually heat wave is just up for grabs because we only have one map. We're not going to see any of the other maps that we normally would see, so it's going to be just Aquarius the entire way through from start to finish of this tournament. But switch it up, winning a nice piv against Flexi, gonna take him down as well. And Command Station, she has basically run away with this lead at this point. So we're gonna be focusing more on Switch It Up and Epic Rage, who are currently tied in this battle for second place, but immediately behind them, they have to worry about Firefly, Sheezy, and Faith Bad, who are knocking on the door. And in a surprising turn of events, Milkshake TV has found some success in this halfway point of the game. He's also knocking on the door, potentially trying to make it into that top 4, which is so important to make sure that he stays safe in this top 16.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing is there is a lot of middle of the pack players in this who are just going to be fighting until this lobby ends on, you know, who's going to take that last spot. You know, they could even come up and take one of the top 2 spots as well, but they have to put themselves in positions where it's easy to play your life, it's easiest to stay alive on the map and do the final damage to players more often.
Faith Bad winning a nice piv there, making sure that he does not go down. Command Station with 30 points. She is 8 points ahead of the closest player to her, being Switch It Up with 22. Epic Rage with 21. That's going to be your first and second place players there. Faith Bad and Milkshake TV are going to round out the top 4 as well. The top 5 rather, but Milkshake now tied up with Faith Bad. Faith Bad, he needs to start getting a couple kills, otherwise he's going to be passed by Milkshake TV. But Milkshake TV has been playing extremely well, off to a rocky start in the beginning, but now halfway into the middle of this FFA, he's starting to come alive.
Yeah, Milkshake, only the 4th player to break that 20 kill mark, and you know, it quickly picks up another one after those 20 kills. He's trying to run away and just keep enough of a lead to put himself in that top 4 position you were talking about, to get himself you said on to the next round, correct? Yeah, and
the semifinals.
Yeah, and that's very important if you want to make it to the next stage of FFA.
The final 8, that's where all the money is. Now we do have, let's see, Lexi, he is looking around. He's trying to find somebody who's going to spawn inside a blue base, but somebody might have picked up the camo inside of mid, because I didn't see anybody go down in the kill feed. So somebody somewhere has camo, and we're going to find out who that is. But in the meantime, Command Station 10 points ahead of the next player. Switch It Up and Epic Rage, they are still fighting neck and neck to get that 2nd place and 3rd place, but I'm just really impressed with Milkshake and Faith Bad. They're still knocking on the door of this final 4, and if these keep going the way that they are, ooh, and a very aggressive thrust from Command Station, but she gets a nice almost double kill. I think that was a triple. Oh yes, okay, so on the screen it was a double kill, looked like a triple skill based on the score that was given out, but that is a double kill for Milkshake. But that's what we're talking about, Kish. You're looking for these ganks, so that's why you see a lot of players gravitate towards this P2 or Car 3 section of the map, because that is where so many players are going to spawn. Blue Fridge and Yellow Fridge is the most common spawns in Aquarius.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense here. You know, watching the nades that these players throw really explains a lot about my personal matchmaking experience. Whenever I get these nades thrown on me, every time I'm gonna look at it, these people are definitely free for all players, because there are some phenomenally just placed grenades that do so much damage on the map that I'm watching these players do, and it's something very impressive to watch.
It's also equally as impressive, I know we keep glazing her constantly over and over again, is Command Station with 43 kills. I think she is 1000% safe from anybody else in this lobby with all of those kills, and she just keeps getting those trades over and over again. So every single life that she has, she's going to increase that lead by 1. Switch It Up now, still only 3 kills ahead of Epic Rage, but Epic Rage, he is just barely ahead of Milkshake. He gets himself a kill as well, putting himself up by 30. And Milkshake TV, he is just hanging on with 28, only 2 kills away from potentially getting 3rd place. For right now, though, he feels pretty safe in 4th place, because he is 3 kills ahead of Faith Bad himself. And honestly, for Milkshake, this is very nice to see for him.
Yeah, seeing him kind of break that 20-point threshold as the 4th player, and then just about to break the 30-point threshold as the 4th player. You know, he's very consistent in the fact that he's going to keep progressing along this lobby at a pace where he's going to keep himself relatively safe. But you know, you do want to build yourself a little bit more of a lead in these free-for-all lobbies, and kind of expand your lead, maybe even take over that 3rd spot, and just build some safety around your placement.
Allie, she's setting herself up for a potential double kill, but unfortunately they trade instead, so she gets denied 2 more kills, but she is not done yet. She tries crossing through mid, grabs herself the heat wave as well. She's looking to go to work with this weapon. It's a very devastating weapon in FFAs, but unfortunately for her, another kill does not go her way. Is she too worried about it? No, she isn't. But Faith Bad with a nice cleanup grenade, gonna take down Milkshake. Now looking for Epic Rage. Can he get the final shot? Yes, he can. And Sheezy gonna clean up with a grenade himself. But Flexi Lexi and Sheezy do end up training out, and at the end of it all, it is still going to be Switch It Up in second place, Epic Rage in third, and just directly behind him will be Milkshake and Faithbat, who are still fighting neck and neck for this fourth and all-important final spot in this lobby.
Yeah, one thing I'm really noticing is in Command Station's gameplay, as much as we're gonna gas her up this entire match here, is, you know, 11 assists is nothing to shy away from. You are absolutely optimizing your damage on the map. All of it is going into just perfectly placed damage towards the end of kills, or perfectly, you know, 3 bullets in a melee in that headshot, like whatever the calculations are. She knows what every single weapon on this map does and how much damage you have to do with each before that last final blow you need to do for a kill. And that's just impressive to think about in a game that is fast paced like Halo.
Milkshake with 35, Epic Rage with 36. Now the fight for third place could potentially begin. Faithbat, he's not too far away, but Faithbat trying to go for that ninja. It didn't quite work out in his favor. Easy instead is going to be the one that takes him out with a perfectly timed back smack in Command Station. She takes a huge grenade hit inside a back yellow base, but he's going to be very, very safe from any further follow-up damage. But right now she's trying to get a cleanup onto Faithbat. She cleans him up just fine. Can't quite get the kill onto Switch It Up before he dies, but Switch It Up, he couldn't capitalize on the damage from Milkshake either. Milkshake hanging out inside a bottom mid. He's looking to stay alive. He sees a potential double kill, but he can't quite secure it. 38 kills for Milkshake, 42 for Switch It Up, but Epic Rage with 38 as well. That's Milkshake's 39th kill. He is now tied again with Epic Rage for third place. Faithbat, he's got to get some work done because we have a minute and a half left in this game before we are going to lock in these scores.
Honestly, really respectable work that Milkshake is putting in here, trying to build his lead into that third place spot. We were talking about him fighting for fourth, and now he's tied in that third place position. So honestly, him keeping up this work and just, you know, lights out playing Halo free for all, and getting himself, you know, farther and farther into these lobbies, and you know, he's got one goal in mind, and that's to win. Knowing this player, all Milkshake wants to do is win, and honestly, respect to that, because he is putting in the right damage, playing his life at the right times, and you know, he's pulling away right now.
Pulling away and catapulting himself, now tied for second place. Switch It Up hasn't been able to get a kill in quite some time, and unfortunately for him, that has put him at risk of losing his second place finish to either Epic Rage or Milkshake, who are now just knocking on that door and letting him know that they are right there to steal it away from him and grab all those juicy points. This is the fourth and final round of the open portion of our FFA tournament. So this is the last chance to get as many points as you can to secure yourself in that top 16. And when we took a look at it last time, it's still very, very close in the middle of that top 16 earlier. So plenty of players fighting for their tournament lives here. We are 3 seconds away, 2 seconds, 1 second left, and we're gonna lock in these scores. Switch It Up did what he needed to do. He secured second place for himself. Milkshake tying in for third, and Epic Rage securing fourth, but Command Station with a very dominant performance finishes first. And now we can start the discussion for who made it into the top 16, Kish.
Yeah, this is really impressive. You know, I kind of want to see what the damage looks like on these players, because how optimal is your damage and how much damage are you wasting going through and just kind of not even wasting, but kind of spending too much time in fights that are not right there ready for you to capitalize. And it looks like, you know, as we go down, it looks like these bottom two players here, you know, even though the kills might be more for Firefly, it's, you know, it's a matter of optimal damage. Oh, it's same amount of kills, but it's a matter of optimal damage here. It's a matter of what damage is just, you know, I sound like a broken record, but how much are you capitalizing on being efficient and just, you know, point blank getting the kill?
Yeah, I agree. Like it does the most important stat line in FFAs is, of course, the amount of kills that you have. But also, what's second important is how many deaths you have as well, because that's how we figure out these tiebreakers, right? If we have two players who are tied for kills, the first thing that we look at is who has the fewest amount of deaths. And honestly, like that is the easiest way to figure out these tiebreakers. So just as important as it is to make sure that you trade as many lives as you can, it is also equally as important to try and gank as many 1v1s as you can, being that third party, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut to a break here in just a second while we get these scores and while we get these scores tallied up to figure out who's going to make it into the top 16. But when we come back, we're going to start with round 1 of the semifinals in the Command Station X Luminon Free For All Atlanta Prep. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back. It is semifinals time. I'm here. I am Revanite, joined with Kish. And Kish, boy, oh boy, do we have some tea to spill coming out of the break. Silver Fox and Juicy in one of the lobbies, they had tied for fourth place. And it got decided not by deaths, not by assists, but by damage dealt. And Silver Fox won the damage dealt, which means that he got that fourth place and Juicy did not. And what's more, Kish, because that was just part A. Now we're going to talk about part B. And let me tell you, Juicy and Epic Rage had tied for that 16th and final spot to get to the semifinals, and Juicy loses again. Another tiebreaker to Epic Rage. He secures himself that 16th spot, and Juicy gets knocked out. It's soul crushing, but that is how the cookie crumbled.
That I have no words. I have no words for that. You can't write scripts as absolutely exhilarating as that one right there. The amount of effort that had to go into deciding who's who's breaking the ties, what's breaking the ties, and who finally lands in this semifinals top 16 is just incredible. Revanite, I'm fired up to watch these semifinals.
As am I. And speaking of semifinals, we have the two lobbies split up. We are going to start off with the first round of the semifinals in this FFA tournament. And leading into this lobby, we already have some big names. We have Hoaxer, the coach for BEPS, leading into DreamHack Atlanta. We also have Matty Matthias, the week one first place finisher. Stefano Biscuit, the week two first place finisher. And also your beloved friend from the College Halo community. We have Milkshake in this group as well. But not only do we have Milkshake, we also have Trusty, a consistent top 8 finisher. Faith, who made it in last week into the top 8. And also Ashlyn, who's making her return here in week number 3 for this week's FFA. She finally made it into the top 16.
Ooh, okay. I love that. Eh, not having seen a lot of FFA myself, seeing that there's so much more to do with FFA with this Command X Luminon weekly tournament. Am I right? It's incredible to see, some familiar faces that we've seen from either coaching certain teams or from different communities, like where I come from, College Halo, just come together and want to play in free for all, whether it's, to get their name out there in Halo, to practice for what's coming in Atlanta, or just, kind of to get their in-game awareness up for when they play in 4v4s, or even to try something new. There's so many different ways that people treat this FFA on themselves, and they set themselves their own goals. And all of these 16 players in the semifinals, either hit one of their goals or are reaching a new goal and setting new heights for themselves as players.
I agree. When it comes to these FFAs, there's not a whole lot of opportunities for a lot of these players to be able to get a lot of practice, especially like when it comes to these really big side tournaments, because when these side tournaments happen, you could be playing for like $10,000, $5,000 if you get into the top 8 for that prize pool. So as we move into the semifinals portion of our FFA Atlanta Prep tournament, we are going to be moving away from the point system that you had seen earlier to where we are moving now into only the top 4 finishers will make it into the top 8. So now there's a lot to be had on the line. That top 4 is going to be incredibly important. Whoever is in 4th or in that battle for 4th, or heck, who even is in 5th, could potentially sneak their way in there. We have 15 minutes of FFA to play to get as many kills as you can to guarantee your spot into the final 8.
Yeah, I would even argue every spot in these lobbies. We're talking about the top 16 free for all players who entered the tournament this week. each lobby is going to have a great pool of talent that shows up into these lobbies, and it's going to be a bloodbath from start to finish. I'm excited to see, whoever leads the lobby at the end and whoever ends the lobby in 8th place. It's going to be incredible to watch how every single player plays. But like,
You can't hear us? They hear us now. Okay. A little bit
we're
of a
back.
technical difficulty. Something happened with the server that we were streaming, that we're hosting our POVs from, but everything should be good now. You guys should be able to hear us. So just like how you were talking about earlier, I don't even remember what we were talking about for the last 10 seconds, if I'm being perfectly honest with you.
We're talking about the winners. Who's going to win this?
Oh, right. Who's going to win this? So if we're taking a look at the lobby that we are currently in, the lobby with Stefano Biscuit, Hoaxer, Faith Bad, Maddie Matthias, Ashenbot, Trusty, Snarky, and Milkshake. In my opinion, my top 4 that I think are going to move on to the top 8 is probably going to be Maddie Matthias for sure, because he's a phenomenal FFA player. You're going to see his POV here in just a second. And if you guys are trying to learn how to get better at free-for-all, you're just going to have to watch Maddie Matthias's POV as much as you can, because he's one of the best to ever do it. My runner-up as well is going to be Stefano. 3rd place, Hoaxer, right? Like he's also a great FFA player as well. But for that 4th spot, I think it's going to be possibly a toss-up between Trusty and Milkshake. We might see a new contender in P4, but I think those are going to be my top 4. But I'm curious to hear about your opinion here, Kish.
My opinion's a little bit swayed by what your opinion is, because you were talking my ear off a little bit over the break here. But I will say, you got to keep in mind the winners from previous weeks. Maddie and Stefano, I think they got to be in my top 4 there. I'm going to take College Halo as, that's a community I love. That's a community I come from. Milkshake's my boy, represent College Halo at the highest level. I'm rooting for him to get to the finals. And I know that's his goal this week, is to get to the finals. So I'm really hoping he gets there. And the name Hoaxer is so prevalent in the college, or in the HCS and professional Halo community, that I think I'd be mistaken not to take him in my top 4. But I'm excited to see this lobby.
I've also seen him play a whole bunch of these FFA side tournaments if he's not in the top 6 or top 4 going into Championship Sunday. So he is a FFA grinder. He does also play a lot of custom money 8s on his stream as well. So Hoaxer, he may be a coach, but he's also a phenomenal grinder when it comes to the custom lobbies and the money 8s as well. So he is absolutely a skillful player, one of the best coaches that we have had, besides, of course, Luminon's very own Coach Hooray. Remember that name. Don't forget it. But we are finally going to get loaded into the map here. It is going to be Aquarius, like I said, and you and I have talked about it so many times when we work together on the College Halo streams, now working together on the Luminon Games channel. And Aquarius is the Thunderdome of Halo Infinite for a reason. It is the only FFA map to exist. And we're going to start off with the POV of Hoax.
Yeah, Hoax, like we were talking about, might not only be good at coaching, he's definitely good at these FFA tournaments to be able to put himself into the top 16 players of this week. And starting off, he at least getting 2 kills to start this off, looking for his 3rd over on this player playing camo. Unable to secure that kill, unfortunately.
And Ashenbot winning that piv onto Milkshake as well. Camo is still very much live and up for grabs, but not a single person wants to make that push into the middle of the map. It's still there. Stefano, he's trying to make a run for it, but Milkshake, he's there on the other side. He couldn't get there because Maddie Matthias, he got the other spawn, but Snarky gets the kill credit. Camo is still there. Nobody has been able to grab it, but Camo being so exposed in the middle of the map. Such a difficult power-up to be able to grab. You have to time it perfectly.
Yeah, exposed is the best way to put it. You know, it is camouflage in the top center of the map. There are so many sight lines that thing is open from. Every player wants it. It's like candy for a baby. All these players are babies. They want the candy, but unfortunately, they're a little bit more disciplined than babies with candy, and they're going to take their time and progress towards this camo. And as we see Milkshake burning it just about as he pops the camo.
Yeah, really unfortunate that there was another spawner inside of yellow base ready to take him down as soon as he made a grab for it. But now all these players can relax because camo is not a factor that they have to think about. But as we take a look at the leaderboard, Matty Matthias, we talked about him. Both of us have him in our top 2, not just top 4, but top 2 finishers in this top 16. He's already got himself 8 kills under his belt. But a surprise to all of us here so far in the production desk, Ashlinbot with 7. She is tied with Hoaxer as the runner-up in this top 16.
You know, I hesitated to not pick Ashlinbot because I know that name, and I really wanted to pick my boy Milkshake, but she's definitely top 5 for me at the very least. And not to say she's a clear number 5, because my knowledge on FFA is not anything like Revenite's, but you know, great to see Maddie here just capitalizing on all the damage he can. And you know, 1 HP walking around the map, just cleaning up a killing spree in free-for-all. I don't know if I see those often in free-for-all, period.
They are not easy to get whatsoever. Very typical of FFAs is going for the 1-for-1 trades over and over and over again. So anytime that you see somebody with a killing spree, they're doing something right. But that is pretty obvious when it comes to Matty Matthias's gameplay. He knows exactly where to look for some of these 1v1s, 2v1s, etc. He knows where the spawners are going to be coming from. He knows where he is safe to get his shields from, etc. His timing, his game sense in these FFAs is nothing short but amazing. But I do think we do have a camo player on the map with shock rifle. I think that's Milkshake, who might have been able to grab himself that camo. So we're going to see if he's able to still stay alive, but I think he just died with it, unfortunately. So we're not going to be able to see that any longer. But Trusty with the heat wave, it's barking and it's melting inside of P2.
Yeah, Milkshake, speaking of him, he was the 4th player to, I believe, reach that double-digit kills threshold, but he's kind of struggling to hold up into that top 4, potentially 5 player area. He's gonna try to deal damage and get himself into a little bit more action on the map here and pull himself back into
what a stick.
Great stick into that top 4.
That's why you see so many players fight for P2 because of those sticky grenades. It's an easy way to guarantee the trade, and sometimes you might even be able to get away with a very cheeky sticky kill as well. But you'll see so many players just gravitate towards P1 and P2, and so many players fight for this section of the map over and over and over again. But taking a look at the top 4 so far, Matty Matthias with 19, followed behind him is Hoaxer, who got himself his 16 kill there on screen, now gets taken out. But shortly behind him is Ashlinbot, but we have a 3-way tie for 4th place. Milkshake, Faithbad, and Snarky now. Stefano finally chiming in as well. A 4-way tie for 4th place.
Yeah, like I said, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath for that 4th place spot. And, you know, that's not even to mention, you know, these players can get on a roll. They can start going lights out, Halo, free-for-all, and get into the top 3, potentially top 2 positions. But Hoaxer with this camo, this is huge, especially in free-for-all.
Very big in free-for-all, and Hoaxer, he's definitely one of the players with the game knowledge enough to be able to make the most out of it. But unfortunately for him, can't capitalize on that double kill that he could have gotten. Gets Matty Matthias, though, sees another player, picks one, sees Stefano. He needs to finish Stefano. No, he doesn't. He gets denied by Milkshake.
Listen, I saw the vision there, Hoaxer. You were just trying to clean up everybody else's work. Nah, I'm kidding. That's really good work out of the camouflage. Just, you know, focus on what damage is there and how you can just break into those fights and steal all of those for yourself.
Ashlinbot Nice kill, nice win as well. Maddie Matthias still in first place with 23. Hoaxer in second with 19. But now we have Milkshake and Snarky who are going to round out your top 4. But FaithBad and Ashlandbot are right behind them with 15, now 16 kills apiece. And Trusty also chiming in. This lobby is entirely too close to each other. This battle for fourth is going to be very, very close.
Love the sandbox usage out of all the players I've been seeing in the free-for-all lobby. I'm a huge sandbox guy, you know, not big on GAs in the 4v4, but see, whoa, little ninja happening in the kill feed. Unfortunate on the receiving end of that, but, you know, great way to trade out a kill that you might not be in the advantage for.
Absolutely. So now it's just a fight to try and get as many kills as you can. We are below the halfway point of the map of the match as well. 8 minutes and counting to get as many kills as you can to really secure yourself in that top 4. Nice pre-nade from Milkshake, gonna take down Stefano, but Hoaxer, he's waiting here inside of Yellow Gen. Snarky, he catches him, but Snarky catches him off guard, and the perfect 5 gonna take down Hoaxer. And Milkshake trades out Snarky, now trying to stay alive inside of Yellow Gen. It's a pretty pivotal fight, but Ashlandbot and Milkshake do trade it out. Trusty with a nice perfect 5 as well. Sees Maddie Matthias, but Maddie Matthias gonna get the kill credit there. Maddie with 27, Hoaxer with 24. We have a tie for third place between Snarky and Milkshake TV, but now as Snarky gets himself his 24th kill, he's on the outside looking into this top into placing first, second, or third. But if things keep going, if the match were to end right now, they would absolutely be safe. But Milkshake now, he is on the line for losing his 4th place spot and getting into this top 8 final.
Yeah, there are so many players trying to breach that top 4 spot. You know, we just saw the 5th and 6th players break that 20 kill threshold, and that is just huge to gain that momentum and find yourself that much closer to breaking into what will be the finals in the top 4 players of this lobby. Great usage of the heat wave here out of Trusty with the camouflage nonetheless. There's so much damage out of Trusty there, but gets taken down there by Faith.
That's why in these FFAs, you really need to just pick up and abuse that heat wave. Those 2 kills, I don't think he would have been able to get that with any other weapon. So a very powerful weapon to pick up in bottom mid. Nobody has to worry about it for right now, but Maddie, he's 2 points ahead of Hoax Factor, as Hoaxer now 3 kills behind Maddie Matthias and only 2 kills ahead of Snarky. But there is still so much less room for this top 4. Trusty now is going to sneak into the top 4, but Ashlandbot and Stefano tied for 23 kills apiece. They are on the cusp of kicking him out of there and securing themselves a spot into this top 8. But Trusty with that double kill, now tied with Snarky for 3rd. He is looking pretty safe so far, as long as he can hold on to his lead for the rest of this match.
Yeah, I wanna point out Maddie here for a second. You know, he had the lead by quite a bit at the beginning, but he's only leading this lobby by 3 kills currently. You know, you want to take a look at kind of kill deficits between the lobbies we saw Command Station in the last one on stream and the lobbies we're in right now, and you know, they're a lot closer, which makes me that much more excited to see these top 4 players play against the top 4 players of what we're going to see next with Command Station.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, what a patient play from Maddie. This is how you play FFAs. Watch this man right here. You want to know what the key to success is? You take notes from this guy's gameplay right now and get yourself a leg up against the competition leading into DreamHack. The sticky goes a little wide, but Ashling's grenade finds him. Several players went down very quickly inside of P2, but we do have Camo up again. And Stefano, he's not going to go for it whatsoever. He's looking inside a blue base to try to get a kill. He sees Hoaxer. Hoaxer gets taken down now in a long-range gunfight against Milkshake, but he wins it. A nice double kill for Stefano. 31 kills for the man. He gets himself into 3rd place with that final kill. Could he get himself a little bit more? Ashlandbot gets taken down, and he is 3 kills ahead of the 2 players who are tied for 4th between Trusty and Snarky.
Not only is it tied for 4th now, Snarky pulling away a little bit with that, but we're on a race to see who's the next player to break 30 kills here, and I'm really excited to see kind of how either Snarky or Trusty are going to play for that 4th place spot here. Ooh, bad time to switch them as they both get taken down there, but still tied at 29 kills, both looking for the same thing, 4th place and their 30th kill in this lobby.
Absolutely, and as Milkshake gets caught out by Stefano inside a blue fridge, he's trying to jiggle around the corner as best as he can, but he does not survive against Stefano, who was patient with that shot. But now we have several players who are tied for 30. Milkshake now tied with Trusty for 30. He is still fighting to stay inside of P4. That is the all-important position to be in, but a good double kill from Stefano. He is going to take second place away from Hoaxer, but I think taking a look at the scoreboard here, Kish, Maddie, Hoaxer, and Stefano seem very, very safe to me. The question is, who is going to take P4? Milkshake, Trusty, will it be Snarky or Ashlandbot, who are just behind him? Faithbat even not too far behind. Every single member of this lobby could potentially take P4 at any point. We have 3 minutes left to figure out who is going to get into the final 8.
Yeah, you know, a lot of times you'll see in some of these lobbies, there's a few players who might not be playing on the same caliber as everybody else, but this lobby is just absolute, you know, a lot of skill in this lobby. Every player has a chance to break themselves into the finals, and there's no words to be had for how competitive these 8 players are against each other.
Ashlandbot burning camo, unfortunately, as well. So no camo. We may have one more camo rotation left to go. However, it's going to be at the 11th hour of this FFA lobby. We have almost 2 minutes left inside of this game, and it is still neck and neck for 4th place. Now Hoaxer is starting to get in danger of falling a little bit too far as we start to close out this game. But with that camo, he's going to look to try and hold on to it for as much as he can, because I was wrong earlier. I thought it got burned, but in fact it was just drop bottom mid. But a great job from Stefano for taking out Hoaxer.
We lost Revenite there for a second. I'll try to do as good of a job as he does here, but Milkshake looking like he's getting a lot of damage here in that 4th place spot that he's in currently. Trying to fight for it, but Ashlandbot trying to play her life over here. They get herself into action. She hears the gunshots over into the yellow fridge. Gets the trade out, which is great out of her. And there's just absolute domination in this lobby out of Maddie here with 50 kills now. We were talking about Command Station last game, who broke 50 kills pretty early, and oh man, the overkill dream was there, but Maddie take it down just earlier than that overkill. Not quite enough damage coming in. Trying to find a lot of damage here. Of any of these players who are on the brink of that 4th place spot. It looks like that 38 kills is what's going to tie all these players up. Trusty, one of the players in that position, trying to find Milkshake, takes him down to gain a lead over top of Milkshake. What a great kill to get. Put yourself above one of the players tied kills wise for you, and put them in the death screen for just a second. It looks like Snarky able to get himself in 4th place alongside of Hoaxer, trying to find the right kills to get him into 4th place. Man, I believe we have a clear top 4 here in Milkshake and Hoaxer, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if my eyes didn't deceive me there, at least kills wise. We'll get Revenite back here in just a minute. His PC unfortunately crashed without Halo being launched. So surprise to that. And it looks like top 3 are pretty clear in Maddie, Stefano, and Snarky. And then we have kills wise a tie for 4th place. So it goes to least deaths, which is Hoax Factor, which breaks my heart seeing one of the college Halo guys make it just shy of that 4th place spot in Milkshake. But he did trail in deaths by 7, which is unfortunate. So congratulations to Maddie, Stefano, Snarky, and Hoax Factor for making it to the finals in this this free for all tournament. We're gonna try to. I believe we'll go to a break here and try to get Revanite back on the stream. We apologize for that, but we'll be right back with some more free for all lobbies for you guys. we are back with more free-for-all here for you guys. The other side of this semifinals round. Revanite, I know, unfortunately, your PC had other plans for you than to watch the end of that free-for-all match. Do you remember the players I told you that made it?
I do, but why don't you go ahead and just refresh my memory for me?
So we had the winners that made it. We had Maddie and we had Stefano. And then we also had what was the guy who was in third place? It was started with an S. Oh no, it wasn't
Hoaxer. With an S?
Yeah.
Snarky.
Snarky, thank you very much. Yeah, there it is on my screen at least. Snarky. And then we had a tie between Hoax Factor and Milkshake. And the thing that broke that tie was the deaths. Hoax Factor had 7 less deaths than Milkshake, which moves him on to the finals. But here we are back on one of the OGs, one of the GOATs, Aquarius, for yet another free-for-all semifinals round.
And this time around, we have Command Station herself in this lobby, the #1 world champion FFA player that we have seen from last year. This time, we also have a couple of other high-profile players as well. We got Cognis, Silva Fox, Sheezy, Weebound, Nuclear Blade, switched it up, and the man who squeaked his way into the top 16, Epic Rage.
Yeah, this is honestly off to an impressive start there with Cognis just spawning in, aware of all of the spawns that happen in free-for-all off the start of the game, just turning around, getting that damage. But here we have Nuclear Blaze, Heat Wave, and Camouflage, the worst combo you want to see in, honestly, any game mode of Halo Infinite.
But he gets taken down very, very quickly, and now I think that Heat Wave got picked up by somebody else, I believe. Haven't quite been able to figure out who just yet, but Silver Fox getting taken down by Cognis. Cognis trying to get his shields back. But we are about to figure out who the final 4 are going to be in that top 8 game that will be taking place immediately after this game concludes. So we got a lot of Halo, a lot of FFA left to go, because once we, like I've always said, once we get past the 5-minute mark, 10 minutes into this game left, we're going to start to see some players start to edge their way into the top spots. But a player for me to watch has been a very surprising performance out of this man on your screen right here, Epic Rage, who he squeaked in. Like I said, he squeaked into the top 16, now tied with Silva Fox for first place.
Yeah, Revenant, you're talking about people trying to squeeze their way in at the last minute. I know you didn't watch the end of that last match, but I'm hoping this match ends kind of similar, because we saw absolute bloodbaths in the middle of the map between all of the players fighting for that 4th spot, and only one can come out successful and get theirself that last bid into the finals. But here, we're looking right now just to break double digits in kills. We're about 2 minutes into this match, and nobody has quite reached that spot yet, but Nuclear Blaze is just 1 away from that threshold, and so is Silva.
Yeah, a very good performance this week from Silva Fox. Silva Fox, he didn't make it into the top 16, or sorry, into the top 8 last time around. And last week, he also just barely made it into the top 16. So Silva Fox having a great performance in the opening moments of this second round in the semifinals. But Epic Rage with the Heat Wave, now with the thrust pack as well. He's going to be very, very dangerous with this combination. Going to pick up some stickies as well, just in case he needs to secure a couple of kills. He's going to toss out one. The Nuclear Blade is going to take him down with nothing but the Commando, giving over those power-ups and power weapons to Cognis, who doesn't beat Command Station. She is the one who's going to stand up tall, then gets cleaned up later on. But we still have a battle for first, second, and third between Cognis, Nuclear Blades, and Silva Fox and Command Station. Ali finally gets into the top 4 conversation, but directly behind her, we have Weebound, who gets himself his 11th kill. So we're still very close in the top 4.
Yeah, we were talking a second ago about breaking into the top 10, and now we have 6 players who are within 2 kills of each other in this lobby. And even farther than that, we have more players who are within just 5 kills. And that can just be a matter of positioning yourself right on the map, doing the damage that you see at just before the kill mark, and just capitalizing on how much damage your bullets are doing.
Exactly right. And we're going to take a look, and Cognis gets taken down by Sheezy. Sheezy going to be the one who gets the kill credit there. But we still have a very, very close battle for top 4. Command Station trying to make her way through the middle of the pack to get herself into the top 4, but Webound as well trying to hold everybody else off to make sure that he stays up here along with Nuclear Blaze. Nuclear Blaze, one of the players that I feel pretty confident in saying that he is going to make it into the top 8, but unfortunately Silva Fox got a little too close to his grenade as it was exploding. But oh no, and bad button input press from Nuclear Blaze. I mean, he's not going to be able to take down Cognis, but Cognis jumping up to car 3, taking down Epic Rage, setting himself up with a sticky grenade to double up. Ooh. With the sticky is going to be enough to deal all the damage from Sheezy's shield, and he's going to get taken down.
Cognis not necessarily in a winning position to start that fight, but you know, the reposition, the insta-splode sticky grenade just gets the right damage on the player to get him into a winning position in that fight. Really impressive to watch that sequence happen.
Now on the POV of Nuclear Blaze, he's going to grab the thrust pack here in P1, looking around, trying to get as many audio cues as he can. Sees Cognis, but he already took a little bit of pre-nade damage. As he goes for the reach out, Cognis is more than ready to receive him, and he takes him down. 18 kills for Cognis, 18 kills for Nuclear Blaze. It is a 3-way tie between those 2 players and Silva Fox now as he gets himself his 18th kill. Command Station starting to get a little bit closer to leading the pack with 20 herself, but we are still extremely close in trying to figure out who's going to make it to the final 8.
Yeah, there is a lot of competition here for the final 8. We got a lot of players closing in on 20 kills, whether that's, you know, you're within 4 away, or you're trying to fight towards, you know, your final kill to break that 20 kill threshold. And looks like we have 3 players are finally past 20 kills, and a lot looking to do the same here. But Heatwave in hand here. Epic Rage gets 1. Unable to pick up a second, though. Heatwave just kind of bouncing between players down in this P1 area.
Changing hands very, very quickly. Sheezy, he finds Cognis, but does enough damage to ensure the trade. And when you're in these FFAs, you really do want to try to, at the very least, ensure the trade. You don't get any points for trying to play your life in free-for-all. You're just going to make yourself an easy cleanup kill for somebody else, because it's just you against the world. And speaking of the world, Command Station in first place with 26. In second place is Cognis with 23, followed very closely by Nuclear Blaze with 22. And followed very closely behind him is Webound with 20. But Silva Fox is just 2 kills away. 1 kill away now with that trade from taking down Webound, as we are starting to look at who is going to be in that battle for 4th place. 8 minutes and counting are left. That's all the time that's left in the game. Might seem like a lot to you and me, but it's not going to be a whole lot to these players. A triple kill for Cognis. He's not going to greed for the overkill, but taking so much damage, and Command Station is going to clean him up, takes him down, and with the thrust in hand as well, she's looking to try and gank this fight in P2, taking down Nuclear Blaze, now playing for her life, but Cognis spots her out, now looking to try to get the cleanup kill on Sheezy, but he's not going to get it. Instead goes for the trade with Switch It Up, and as we swap POVs to Nuclear Blaze, it's just fight and death all over the place, Kish.
Yeah, we're talking about that 4th place spot, but I believe Cognis is trying to make a statement right here. He's only 1 kill away from that 1st place spot, and he's on a mission here, it looks like. He absolutely wants to win this round and put himself on the right pace to get into essentially 1st place pace for the finals.
Now with Command Station, 30 kills apiece. He's going to sprint across into blue base. He hears the audio cues, and he gets the cleanup kill onto Webound. Now with 6 shots left in this heat wave, but unfortunately for him, Ali is going to spawn inside a blue fridge, takes him down as well. Now there's a big fight inside of this blue base, and it will be Sheezy who says thank you very much and gets himself an easy double kill with that grenade toss.
And Heatwave in hand is just scary after that double kill. Got to be a lot of dopamine pumping through your blood there. You know, 3 kills in a life is huge in free-for-all. A lot of times these players just looking to play for trades, looking to maximize damage on, you know, 1, maybe 2 players. But the second you get that third one is really a great moment. Great double kill at a command station here.
Amazing plays out of command station. I thought she was dead 3 times over, but Cognis gets himself a double kill, putting him once again 1 kill behind her. And now as we look at the POV of Nuclear Blaze, he's still trying to hold on to 3rd place. He's able to hold on to it pretty well, actually, making sure that he stays in, you know, getting himself his 30th kill. And now Cognis with a nice 2v1 gank as a third party. He's going to get himself a double kill, might even get him 3 depending on how these grenades are going to land, but they don't land in his favor. And Sheezy is going to stay alive inside of blue base. Now fighting against Nuclear Blaze is going to use a plasma pistol to rip his shields to pieces. Nuclear Blaze with 32, followed very closely by Silva Fox, who for at least right now is holding on to 4th place.
Yeah, there is an 8 kill deficit between 3rd and 4th place here. You know, it's going to be kind of a struggle to get into the top 3 if you're looking to even breach top 4 here. But, you know, these players, I've said it time and time again, they got to put their head down, play lights out Halo from here to the end, and just focus on where their damage is going and what efficiently needs to be placed out of their bandit evos.
Rebound and Silva Fox, they are in a desperate fight for 4th place. Silva Fox just trying to hang on. Rebound trying to upset him and take him down and remove him. But we have a player inside of bottom mid, and Silva Fox with the Sneak King on Epic Rage gonna take him down. And Rebound still 1 kill behind, but he gets taken down by Cognis. Is gonna stay alive inside of Blue Fridge. But as we start to see the 3 members in the top 3 start to get further and further away from Silva Fox and Rebound, this battle for 4th place is going to be the one that we focus on. Who is it going to be? Will it be Rebound? Will it be Silva Fox? Or will Sheezy find himself a nice spread of kills to get himself into the conversation for 4th place?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how Silva Fox really plays their life here, and trades after trades. You know, they're great for you to kind of get 1 step closer to your end goal, but you know, at a certain point in this match, you're gonna have to start playing a little bit different positioning, a little bit different pacing, and just find yourself in situations where you're doing more damage than you do.
So much death happening on your screen, but Rebound, he did do what he needed to do, and now takes 4th place away from Silva Fox, and now is in a great position to extend that lead even further. He can't quite get it against Nuclear Blaze. He wanted it as much as you did, Kiss, but he couldn't quite get it. And now Silva Fox is in danger. 4 kills behind Rebound. This is the battle for his tournament life here. He has to get something going, but we are approaching the sub 3-minute mark of this game. Not a whole lot of time left. Did Rebound do what he needed to do in that previous life, or will Silva Fox make the impossible possible and take away 4th place?
Now, Rebound is playing absolutely amazing right now. We were talking about 8 kills, 7 or 8 kill deficit earlier between 3rd and 4th place, and now Rebound has closed that gap to just 3 kills, and he's looking to bite off even more. And I don't think he can't chew it. I think he's going to bite it off, and he's going to chew it, and he's going to swallow it.
Do it, swallow it, try to figure out a way to get as many kills as he can. An overkill for Switch It Up in this free-for-all. That 2nd overkill that we've seen so far in these free-for-all weeks. Now gets one for himself, but Rebound still 2 kills ahead of Silva Fox, but we got to watch out for Sheezy, and now with that overkill, potentially even Switch It Up. Both of these 2 players are in the 30s for kills total so far, but Rebound, he's just, all he has to do is hold on to 4th place.
Oh, Camo Heatwave out of Cognis there. An absolutely deadly combo here that every player aspires to get. And Cognis, like I said earlier, going for 1st place, but the 1st place leader right now in Nuclear Blaze.
Rebound with a nice double kill there. Gets taken down by Command Station, but every single kill that we see Rebound get makes this job so much harder for Silva Fox. 1 minute and 30 seconds left in this game. He needs to get 3 just to tie with Rebound, but a tie in this situation, Kish, is not going to be enough. Silva Fox will lose the tiebreaker to Deaths alone, so he has to get 4 kills ahead of Rebound if he wants to take 4th place. Rebound, all he needs to do is just stay 1 kill ahead of Silva Fox.
And Rebound's looking to get as much damage as possible here, but you know, a couple of these kills getting stolen, which is not what you want to see. It actually gets that trade to trade his life out there, which is better than not getting a single kill for your life, which is at the end of the day the minimum you need to do in these FFA lobbies, especially if you're in the top 4.
Well, he got that kill against Command Station, but he dies. 45 seconds left. Rebound just needs to stay ahead of Silva Fox. The battle for 4th place has now officially begun. He gets himself 1, but that's all he's going to get. Can Silva Fox take advantage of this death from Rebound to get himself a kill? No, he can't. Command Station gets the better of him and sends him to the grave. Is that going to be the nail in the coffin for him? I believe it very well could be. 4 kills behind Rebound, asking to get 4 kills in a free-for-all game with 15 seconds left in the game is impossible. I believe Rebound has done exactly what he needed to do, and he will secure himself a spot in the final 8. Silva Fox, his head is in his hands. His hopes and dreams have been crushed and crumbled. And as we finalize this game, it will be Rebound who gets 4th place. And what a wonderful symbol to see, a cheering grunt to secure the win.
Yeah, that is absolutely something you want to see at the end of the game, placing top 4. You know, sometimes you got some emblems that'll show you something that you don't want to see, but that's, you know, 4th place, cheer you up a little bit, winning by 3 kills. But I want to take a look at number 1 and number 2. I want to see some death difference, some damage difference, because we're talking about the top 2 players in the lobby. Now we go to say the tiebreaker for this would be if theoretically, if they were in 4th and 5th place, it would be Deaths, correct?
Yes.
So to an extent, Nuclear Blaze did win 1st place by, I guess, that parameter. But both of these players, 51 kills in 15 minutes. Absolutely impressive out of both of them. Very
impressive, but you know, like these guys, you know, we knew that they were going to get into the top 3 from pretty much like minute 10, really. Like we knew that they were going to make it into the top 3, no problem. But Silva Fox just barely losing out to Rebound. He was holding on to 4th place for so long, but unfortunately gets knocked out by Rebound and will not make it into the top 8. But that will be it for the semifinals. Both semifinals have been concluded. We have the 8 players who are going to make it into the money round. Nuclear Blaze, Cognus, Command Station, and Rebound are going to join Stefano, Maddie Matthias, Hoaxer, and Snarky in the final 8. When we come back from break, it will be those 8 players battling for number 1 to get the most out of this prize pool for the Command Station X Luminon Atlanta prep. When we come back from this break, the final 8 will battle it out on stream. We'll see you guys then. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the final round of the Command Station X Luminon Gaming Free-for-All Atlanta Prep Tournament, week number 3. We are here to finish this out, Kish, you and me, and it's been a little bit of a long journey between these players, but we are finally here to figure out which one of these 8 finalists will be the #1 free-for-all player in this week.
Yeah, a lot of great talent coming into this lobby from these past couple of matches that we have watched. You know, you were telling me you were telling me about a lot of these players before we went live on stream, and your predictions weren't too far off. A lot of those names you were telling me to watch out for made it to this top 8 spot. You know, the winners from previous weeks, people like Command Station and Hoax Factor, but as we get into this, I'm really excited to see, you know, the 4th place winners in these, the Hoax Factor, the Webound. It's going to be amazing.
I 100% agree. We're going to see if Maddie Matthias can make lightning strike twice, or will Stefano Biscuit win the back-to-back free-for-all tournaments 2 weeks in a row. We're going to find out here in just a second. But Command Station, she was missing from last week. Now back in week number 3. She just barely lost to Maddie Matthias from week 1. Now looking to cement her place as the #1 free-for-all player in the world this week.
Yeah, Hoax Factor taking the early lead here with 4 kills, tied right now with Stefano. And we're going to see how this early lead kind of progresses throughout this game. I feel like these 2 players are going to be awesome to watch. And I think one other thing that's going to be awesome to watch is all 8 of these players have been playing their absolute hearts out here. You know, they might have a slightly different play style in this free-for-all going into the finals here.
Going into the finals, and once we hit the 5 minutes time elapsed so far, we will start to see which one of these players is going to make it into that #1 spot. No longer are we concerned with who's going to be in P4. We are now concerned with who will finish with that coveted #1 spot. What a jiggle peek from Webound taking down Snarky. And as we take a look at Stefano's POV, he gets 1. He takes down Maddie Matthias. And as we swap POVs for just a brief second, we saw Hoax Factor get taken down as well. But it will be Stefano and Command Station, and also now Hoax Factor, who are going to round out your top 3.
Really competitive top 3 players here, even going farther into the top 5 players. There's honestly not a lot of room for error for each of these players in this lobby. You know, you're looking for a kill, you're not looking for a trade, you're looking for maximum damage on somebody. If you end this game in the top spot with the most kills and you're tied with someone else, does that go to the same tiebreaker, Revenite?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Those are the FFA rules.
And that, I feel like, warrants slightly different playstyle out of some of these players. You know how competitive that free-for-all can be time to time. So you're looking for, you know, not minimal deaths, but you're looking to get kills and play your life just a little bit more, because there's only room for 1.
That's not how Maddie Matthias wants to play this game whatsoever. He's got 11 kills to his name, and he's also got 10 deaths. But he's just trying to make that number in the kills column as big as he possibly can. And Hoaxer, he's also looking to try and capitalize with this camo for as much as he can, trying to get himself as many kills as he can. And he is tied with Stefano for 2nd place and 3rd place. But with that, he is now tied for 1st with 12. Gets taken down by Cognus, who gets taken down by Snarky. And it is still going to be a battle for 1st and 2nd place. Command Station falling behind just a little bit, unfortunately for her. 7 kills to her name, but Stefano, he's now looking at trying to make his grab for #1. But Maddie Matthias, who dominated in week 1, is looking to continue that domination to week 3.
Really precise shots here out of every player, you know, trying to find the damage that's across the map and capitalize on the 1 HPs, the 1 shots, the potentially even 2 shots across the map, and just get the kills and then get themselves in another fight to trade out quickly after that and win 2 kills for their 1 death per life.
Agnes, his back's facing the wrong way, and Hoaxer now, he takes first place with that kill against Matty Matthias. He gets caught out by Weebound though. Who gets caught out by Snarky? He tries to go for the leaping melee, but can't quite get there, unfortunately for him. Command Station now in the double digits in this lobby, but we're going to be taking a look at Hoaxer and Stefano, who are tied for first place, followed very closely behind by Matty Matthias and Nuclear Blaze.
15 minutes is all this lobby has to it, and the kill leaders in that 15 to 17 kill margin. You know, Hoax Factor had a lot of use out of that camouflage pretty early in this game, didn't go down right away, and that life start to finish, I believe he picked up 6 kills total, and that really pushed his envelope to do the damage, get the right kills and points on the board early in the game to make him competitive in this lobby.
Good patient play from Command Station. She knows exactly what she needs to do when she finds this 2v1 third-party gang situation. She's even more patient when it comes to getting that kill onto Weebound, but we do have a camo player on the map. I think that's going to be... Is that Cognis? No, not Cognis. Somebody has camo. We're going to find out here in just a little bit, but once we do figure out who has camo, that's going to be the player to watch to try and see how much they can capitalize on that camo in this free-for-all game.
Snarky mouse and key player, which I feel like in Halo is kind of an anomaly, but it gets a lot of really precise shooting out of that. Sometimes I feel like you can get caught off kind of clearing your corners, flicking around for it, but doing a great job kind of playing his life over there. But Agnes here going to catch up to some of those players, get himself maybe towards top 4 and then progress from there.
Man Station now. She got herself her 17th kill there. She's still a little bit behind from the leaders. 23 kills for Stefano, tied for 22 with Nuclear Blaze and Hoaxer, but Hoaxer now tied for first place. All Command Station needs is one good spring of kills, one good life where she gets like a little bit of a killing spree, and she can get there, but Hoaxer is making it so difficult with that triple kill now. But so many players are still within fighting distance of that lead as we try to find someone who's just alive. Everybody's dying left, right, and center. So many players in these 1v1 fights trading out damage. But Matty Matthias, he takes so much damage from Hoaxer, but Hoaxer can't quite finish that one off. You got 4 bullets left in the chamber. You have to get 3 in a melee. He gets it against Cognis.
Seeing Hoaxer in first place, I keep going back to that camouflage that he had early in this game. Just maximum efficiency, and he's not ahead by a huge margin like we've seen some of these lobbies where they're ahead by, you know, the likes of 10 plus kills. This lobby is very competitive, especially the top 4 players, and Hoax just capitalizing on everything he sees. If he sees a trade, if he sees the potential for a trade, he's gonna keep his lead as best as he can.
Try to hold on the lead for as long as he can, especially when we are now approaching the halfway point in this game. Matty Matthias though taking down Hoaxer. Hoaxer falls, he goes down, he dies, but Matty Matthias is still very far away from him in the kills department. 22 kills to 28. He has to get 6 kills in order to be able to get back there. But Snarky now with camo going to be very, very patient, waiting for Command Station. But Command Station spins around the last second, denies the back smack for Snarky. It takes a little bit longer for him to get that kill, but still ends up getting it anyways. And now with this camo still playing very, very patiently, waiting inside of R3 with that mouse and key movement. He's able to whip that POV around as quickly as he can. Gets himself a double now with a killing spree. Sees Command Station as well. Takes her down for a triple. Gets an overkill on stream. Can he get the kill tech? He's chasing down Nuclear Blaze.
Yes!
Kill-tacular and kill-tacular for the Luminon FFA stream.
Wow. Wow. I am absolutely speechless. You know, I was trying to form my words while you were talking, Revenite, about how important it is and how game-changing that it is to get a camouflage and play so smart with the camouflage. And Snarky blew my mind with how well he played and how precise that mouse and keyboard aim can be time to time, picking up 5 in a row.
What a good life for Snarky. That immediately boosts him up significantly far into the pack as well. Weebound, he gets a trade against Hoaxer as well, but Nuclear Blaze gets the kill credit, not Hoaxer, unfortunately for him. Hoaxer now finding himself in a little bit of hot water with Nuclear Blaze, tied 32 to 32. Now 33 as Nuclear Blaze uses that heat wave thrust combo to get himself so much more of a damage lead against the rest of the players. Now against Matty Matthias, but Matty Matthias gets the one up on him with that ghost jump. Command Station trying to stay alive inside a fridge, not going to live for much longer, and Hoaxer also falls, also dies. Weebound now forced to flee and retreat for his life. But so far, the scoreboard looks like this, Kish. Nuclear Blaze in first place with 34, followed by Hoaxer with 34, now tied for the lead, falling back to second place. In third place, we have Stefano with 30 kills to his name. But for fourth place, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4-way tie for fourth with 27 apiece between Matty Matthias, Snarky, Command Station, and Cognis.
Unfortunately, Revenite, that tie for fourth place does not matter because this is the only match where one player will come out victorious. There's nothing to play for fourth place here. You gotta put your head down, play lights out Halo, play lights out free for all, get all the damage you possibly can, and breach yourself into top 3, top 2, and get yourself into first place here, which is absolutely what Nuclear Blaze is. I wouldn't even say dominating. He's sitting there nice and comfortably right now.
4 minutes left, and with the 3-kill lead against Hoaxer, looking for his 39th kill to make it even more difficult for Hoaxer to catch him. But Ali gets the one up on him, taking him down, but Hoaxer's dead. He can't capitalize on this opportunity given to him by Command Station, but Command Station, she's still within striking distance. 4 minutes is a pretty manageable amount of time, especially if she can continue to stay alive in these 1v1 fights.
Nuclear Blaze still sitting comfortably. I'm eyes locked on the scoreboard right now, trying to see if anybody's going to contest this lead here soon. Hoax Factor, the next closest on that leaderboard. I want to see what he's up to over there on blue base here. We're going to try to pick off Snarky. You know, 2 very efficient camo plays out of both of these players. Gets taken down. Still a 2-kill lead out of Nuclear Blaze. Trying to expand it.
Used to be a 5-kill lead, now drops to 2. And now Matty Matthias, he's been able to get himself within striking distance of Nuclear Blaze. We may not be done with this conversation for who's going to get first place just yet, Kish. It's still going to take the entirety of the rest of this match to figure out who is going to be in that coveted #1 spot as Matty Matthias and Command Station trade out. No, Hoax Factor has shrunk that lead back down to 1, exactly where it was before. Nuclear Blaze, he does get himself 1 kill, and Hoaxer getting himself another, still within striking distance of Nuclear Blaze, 40 to 39. Which one is it going to be as we are starting to get to the 2.5-minute mark of this game? All right. Just me, I guess. I don't know where Kish is.
Oh, sorry about that. I had a banger line lined up for you, Revenite, and I absolutely fumbled the bag on that. I apologize. But, you know, Nuclear Blaze trying to do everything he can in this lobby, and he's extending his lead as much as he can right now to 4 kills over Hoax Factor. And that could mean everything, especially with 2 minutes on the clock.
Nuclear Blaze looking for his first FFA win in his Command Station X Luminon weekly Atlanta Prep tournament. This will be absolutely big for him to be able to grab. Always making it to the top 8, never quite making it to #1. Now with his best opportunity to be able to get there. Nuclear Blaze with 46. He gets taken down though. Hoaxer, he might be able to capitalize on this. No, he can't. He gets taken down by Stefano. Now Stefano looks to be trying to take away all the hopes and chances from Hoaxer. But let's not forget, as we look at a minute and a half left in this game, Matty Matthias is just behind Hoaxer with 42 kills apiece. We have Command Station even 8 kills away. Excuse me, sorry about that. 8 kills away from getting into this conversation, but 8 kills in a minute and 15 seconds is a lot to ask for.
Yeah, Nuclear Blaze is really, at this point, I would say he's dominating this lobby. You know, you have 63 seconds left on the clock here. for somebody to try to breach first place, you have to do a lot of damage and not die like Maddie and Hoax are currently. And as this game goes on, Nuclear is not going to trade out that life, but also not going to really run away with this game just yet. There's 40 seconds for 5 kills to come in from any of these players, which is 100% possible.
100% possible, but with every death here in these last few seconds, it's going to be could potentially be one position loss or gain, depending on how these kills end up trading out. And Nuclear Blaze with 50, feeling pretty comfortable. All he has to do is just not die and put himself in a situation where he might be throwing away the lead. But Maddie Matthias with 46, he is going to potentially secure second place. 10 seconds are left. Can Hoaxer get 2 kills? Can he get it done? No, he can't. Maddie Matthias rounds out second place. And in first place, it was a long journey to get here, but he was in first for pretty much all of it. Nuclear Blaze is your week 3 FFA finisher.
Congratulations, Nuclear Blaze. Well played throughout that entire tournament. You know, it takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of grind to get yourself in these FFA lobbies and just position yourself so well. I want to see the damage that these players put out on the map, because that's one thing I always look at no matter the game mode. And Nuclear Blaze may not have led the lobby in damage, even top 3 in this lobby damage wise, but he did the right things at the right times, traded out the right lives, and just impressive work out of Nuclear Blaze. Congratulations to him. Congratulations to everybody who made it to the finals, to the semifinals. It was absolutely amazing to watch this week.
It really was. We have a lot of great talent participating week after week after week in these Atlanta Prep FFAs. And once again, we could not have come up with this idea ourselves here at Luminon Gaming if it wasn't for Command Station, aka Ali, the FFA champion from 2025. And honestly, huge shout out to her for putting this FFA on and us giving it a platform for all these FFA players to get as many reps, as much practice as they can before the big FFA side tournament in DreamHack Atlanta. So if you're one of those players who are going to be going to DreamHack in Atlanta in just a few weeks, we still have one more week of open bracket tournaments. Our last and final open FFA ATL prep is going to be next week. And then we will have the big FFA Invitational consisting of the #1 finishers from all 4 previous weeks. So that's going to be Maddie Matthias, Stefano Biscuit, and now joining their ranks, Nuclear Blaze. And then everybody else who finished as the runner-up or the 3rd place finishers as well will be invited to the 16-player FFA Invitational the week before, the Sunday before DreamHack Atlanta. So, excuse me, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into an interview with Nuclear Blaze. Sorry, I'm choking on my own spit. It happens from time to time, okay? I guess I'm just one of those people who, I guess I'm just one of those people who just kind of has that happen from time to time themselves. But of course, we're going to get an interview with Nuclear Blaze here on production in just a few seconds. But tell me how you felt about that tournament there, Kish, especially the final 8.
I was honestly really impressed as somebody going into this, not watching a lot of free for all. I think it gives me a new perspective about players who are trying to get their name known into the Halo Infinite scene and potentially work themselves to whatever Halo Studios has coming for us in maybe a next title, maybe what HCS has for us at DreamHack Atlanta, whatever comes after that. It's really interesting to see. And we've seen a lot of players who prosper in the free for all tournaments move on to that 4v4 stage and make a name for themselves there. So I think a lot of these players know exactly kind of the pipelines that work towards, where everything is in Halo Infinite. And I think that's what they're all here for. And honestly, the only other thing I have about this whole tournament is passion. I saw a lot of passion today, and that's what I love to see out of Halo.
started on this interview with Nuclear Blaze,
Interesting.
your number one finisher
Hey,
from the week 3 FFA featuring Command Station and Luminon Gaming, presented to you guys here live. Nuclear Blaze, congratulations on being the week 3 finalist.
thank you, thank you.
All right,
Yeah.
Nuclear Blaze, tell me, what was your mindset going into this tournament from start to finish when you got into the top 8? You have been in the top 8 every single week so far. Now, finally able to get yourself the number 1 spot after dominating in the opens for so long.
I mean, my mindset was just as long as I play good FFA, like good Halo, I should be able to win. And so like every life, I'm thinking, let me just make the higher probability play. So like the better play on paper, and I should be okay. So I'm just thinking about that every life, pretty much, and like just
So
going
when it
into it. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So when you decide to play, what's the strategy when it comes to FFA for everybody who just doesn't have a whole lot of experience? Maybe they have a whole lot of experience in 4v4 or even 2v2, but it's a completely different kind of game when you are playing in a free for all. So walk us through what you're thinking about from start to finish whenever you respawn.
Well, the biggest thing that's different from 4v4 and FFA, in my opinion, is that in FFA, you don't want to complicate things. You want to start an engagement and end it as fast as possible. So a lot of times for me, that just means 3-shot beatdown trade, right? Like, if the longer I prolong the fight, the higher chance someone's going to steal a kill. Like, Snarky, I think, got a kill-tacular, and there was like, me and Stefano were in a 1v1, and he killed both of us too. But if we traded, he would have gotten 2 less kills. So that's a different mindset. Like at 4v4, you want to extend your life, you want to milk your life, do as much damage as you possibly can, and still live, and your teammates can pick up on the damage or whatever. FFA is like very different in that sense.
All right, Kish, do you have anything that you want to ask Nuclear Blaze?
I like that you touched a lot on the difference between kind of 4v4 play and FFA play. As somebody who traditionally has only ever done 4v4 play, is 4v4 something that you are kind of aspiring to break yourself into as a player? Is FFA kind of your entry point into 4v4, or do you want to stay kind of towards the free for all side of it, the side tournaments?
I think 4v4 has always been my kind of main goal because I do want to play against like the best of the best pretty much. Whereas FFA is like everyone's pretty good, but we're all like everyone's kind of focused on doing their own things. Like everyone has real life stuff going on and they don't have that much time to focus on the game. But like in 4v4, usually the pro players they spend a lot more time focusing on the game. So playing against players of that caliber, like for me, that's more enjoyable or like it's more like exciting, I guess. But not to say that these players are worse or anything. It's just that's kind of like the level I wish to be playing at. At least I hope so in the future. But I'll keep this FFA thing going until I can make it for force.
Speaking of keeping FFAs going, you have been participating in every single week of the Command Station X Luminon FFA DreamHack Atlanta preparation tournaments, and now with this number one, this first place finish, you have essentially secured yourself a guaranteed spot in the FFA Invitational, where only 16 players are going to be getting an invite into that tournament, and that will be taking place on May 10th, the Sunday before DreamHack Atlanta. So also the prize pool for that invitational will be much larger than the ones that we have had here, which, $200, that's okay, I suppose. But really, when it comes to these FFAs, you're playing for potentially like 5,000, 10,000, depending on the size of the tournament. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how important is it for you to have an opportunity like this to be able to get so much prep against some of the top FFA players that we have seen in HCS? Like we have Maddie Matthias, we have Ali herself, Command Station won, she was a FFA World Championship previously. We also have Stefano, who won last week, and so many other players as well. Like, how important is it for you to be able to have all this practice against some of this top talent?
Yeah, I think it's really good. I just want to clarify one thing. I didn't play the first one, but I did play the last one. So I played 2 so far, the weekly ones. But I kind of forgot about the first one. I didn't sign up in time. I kind of wish I played it. But for
I
me,
thought I
the
saw your name.
reason
It's my bad too.
oh no, it's okay. But for me, the reason why I'm playing these, yeah, it's not about the cash prize. I mean, maybe the final one's big enough that it can be motivating me in that sense. But for me, for these ones, it's just the practice. That's it. Like I know it's really hard for us to get like 8 people with different schedules on at the same time to practice at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. Like that's usually what we do. But it's hard to get that going. So with this, it's like people are trying really hard, and we have really good players playing. So it's really good practice. Really good practice. Like another issue with practice is like when you just scrim normally, sometimes when people are having a bad game, they'll just leave or they'll just give up, or you can tell they stop trying. But in this specifically, everyone's trying pretty hard, so a lot of these games feel pretty real. They feel like pretty similar to how Land would play sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of great practice coming out of everybody in these lobbies. I think one common goal, especially in these tournaments, is to be at that top spot that you are now, and to get to Atlanta. What are you looking forward to most at DreamHack Atlanta?
Well, I really want to. I got second in the last FFA, so I really want to win this FFA. But that's kind of probably what I'm looking forward to a lot, and I'm also looking forward to playing with this new squad of teammates I have for 4v4 with Rebound, Snarky. They're actually my teammates, and
Yeah.
and Iggy Biggy. So I'm excited to play with them on LAN. Snarky's MNK, and he's been
He
frying.
is. Yeah, the
Yep.
first MK player I think that made it into the top 8 for the free for all so far.
Oh, really?
I think so. I'll have to
Yeah,
double
yeah.
check through the footage, but Kish, being a MNK player from time to time as well, immediately clocked him as like
Yeah.
a mouse and keyboard player because
Oh yeah.
there really is no way that you can emulate just the quick
100%.
180-degree turns that you can get with the mouse and keyboard exclusively.
Yeah. No, I played him on LAN as well, and it's a very similar experience where he fries on LAN, where it's he keeps his online setup like pretty handicapped, where he only plays in 120 FPS. He doesn't move it past that. He keeps his hertz for his mouse limited to like 500 or something. So because of that, he actually plays really well on LAN.
Nice. Yeah, there's
Interesting. Awesome.
Yeah.
definitely a lot of players that do like kind of what you call the handicapping, where they set their setups as close as they can to kind of what consoles feel
Yeah,
like.
100%. I feel like I'm bullying them when I'm playing on my setup.
All right, well, Nuclear Blaze, we're going to have one more question and then we're going to end the stream. So, my last and final question to you, I suppose, isn't even really a question. It's more of if you have anything that you want to say before we end the stream, any shout outs, or do you have any commendations you want to hand out to your fellow competitors, etc.? Is there anything at all that you want to say before we end the stream today?
Yeah, sure. I'll shout out like the guy who got me to the spot in the first place was Deputy Goober. He stopped competing now, but he's the reason why I got good at FFA. Switch it up. A lot of the regulators, Karam. I mean, not all of them are still playing, but they're all the reason why. Like everyone in the regulators, and we all like we're a community. We help each other out. If anybody wants some advice or wants to practice FFA or wants some VOD review, I'm usually chilling in the regulators, so I can help people out if they ever want.
Absolutely. And also, as you know, representative of Luminon Gaming as well, we also want to say a huge shout out to regulators and so many other smaller Halo communities that have come together to participate in these open qualifiers. We would not have a platform or even a whole tournament if it wasn't for you guys. So big shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for participating. Also want to shout out to Rondon, our production. Thank you so much for doing that. And also, for the first time ever, Boyce, the CEO of Luminon, running Observer so that you could all see that kill-tacular from, I think that was Snarky actually who got the first kill-tacular
Mouse
on
and key.
stream. And we saw that from start to finish. I'm pretty sure it was Snarky who got that. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be clipping that one. We're going to be tagging Snarky, and Snarky can go ahead and add that to the highlight reel of his career, I suppose. But yeah, thank you guys so much for participating. Thank you, Kish, also for joining me here on the caster desk. And once again, congratulations, Nuclear Blaze, on guaranteeing your spot at the FFA Invitational on May 10. And without much further ado, thank you guys for watching the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your Sunday, and we will see you next week for the final open qualifier for the FFA Invitational hosted by Command Station and Luminon Gaming. Thank you guys for tuning in and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you guys too. I'm gonna head up.